Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Megan Hill. Today we're going to be talking about things that I've learned in regards to food, my eating habits, healing my gut, being in a calorie deficit, and etc. We're just going to be having a little chit chat and diving into it all. If you're new here, I do lifestyle and fitness content, so I talk a lot about healthy meal, balanced lifestyle, fitness, and a little bit of fashion as I work a 9 to 5 and balance being a content creator as well. So if that's your jam, definitely join the fam. Go ahead and like and subscribe. But I think I want to start this off kind of like in a timeline and kind of just talk through everything that I've learned up from the beginning of this year until now. So I mentioned before in some previous videos, specifically in my life update video, in January, I really feel like I reached like a pinnacle of like pain and discomfort and issues with my gut. I had been bloated for consistently for about 5 months at that point, and I had no idea what the heck was going on. I've always pretty much eaten the same thing. I'm a creature of habit, so I find a good meal that I know how to cook and I eat the same thing all the time. And it wasn't until I did some traveling back to back for work, for personal stuff in the summer of 2023 that I just ended up all like discombobulated after that trip, and I felt like my gut was suffering and like I was just bloated and like constipated and all these other horrible things. And for me, when I get back into my routine of lifting and eating the same thing, eating my oatmeal and drinking my water, then I get back to normal. Like I just need a couple days and it's fine. But that did not work. That continued to happen for weeks, for months. And it wasn't until August, so it started in June, and it wasn't until August that I decided to go to the doctor, and I began a series of appointments. I ended up getting an endoscopy, and that's, when they stick a tube down your throat and look into your stomach and gut and everything, and they didn't see anything. They were like, we see some inflammation, but we don't see anything like alarming, like no, like I don't even know what they would see, but nothing bad. So I was like, great, but also like, what's going on? And so I got, the list of foods to avoid. Don't have anything spicy. What about gluten? Doing elimination diet and like all these things. And that was super overwhelming because I didn't really know where to start. Like I have all these people telling me, you need to do an elimination diet. Girl, I let go of gluten. I stopped eating meat. I stopped having dairy and all this stuff. And for me, I wasn't in a rush to do that because my dad is gluten sensitive and I've seen his struggles with, just cutting out everything and like how much weight he lost and like, other deficiencies that he could have brought upon himself by eliminating so many things, and I just wasn't in a rush to do that. And it was super hard because with elimination diet, no, I never full-fledged went into that, but I would track what I was eating, and there was nothing that was a pattern. It wasn't all the time after my breakfast. It wasn't all the time after I ate this meal. It'd be sometimes, it'd be all the time. And so I was like, I don't know if it's anything that I'm eating. I feel like there's something else. So I struggled with this for months and months and months. And in that meantime, I also just like gained weight and I feel like I just looked inflamed. Like I felt like my face was puffy. So I decided to go into a calorie deficit. Now, there have been several times, maybe like 3 times that I have said, I think I want to go into a cut. I think I want to go into a calorie deficit. Hee hee. And then I go 2 days without having candy or cookies. And then I'm like, whew, this is hard. I can't do it. And then I give up. This has happened several times. And I kind of view just going to a calorie deficit as something that was just very like restrictive and, not healthy and just unrealistic. Like, this is the weight that I have on me, this extra bit of weight, which is not like significant, like it's not bad. It's fine. I'm not going to starve myself in order to do so. And that was kind of the mindset that I saw when I saw people online going into their cutting season and doing restrictive dieting. I was just kind of like, you're doing a lot. Like, I'm not one of those people. Like, I want to enjoy my life. Da, da, da. But I reached a point where I was like, I don't really like how I'm looking right now. I love myself. I don't really like how I'm looking. So I think, what's a better time than now to try to enact some change, because I feel like I really like hit the bottom. Like I was feeling bad and I didn't like how I looked as well. And so just it was double whammy of just like unhappiness. So and I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And I'd say that I was so worried by going in my calorie deficit that I was going to have such like a negative view of food and be cranky and come out of this like super negative, ever wanting to like, eat a slice of pizza again or and be afraid of like gaining all this weight back. But instead, that's not at all like how I came out of my calorie deficit. I learned so much about food and like what my body needs, and it has honestly been life changing. As I had to like structure my meals for the day, I really learned about like how I could tweak different numbers to get the most bang for my buck. I talked about in another video how I kind of compared calories to like a budget you have to spend in a day. And so I was like, okay, well, if I only have, $1,500, then how do I want to spend it? Do I want to spend most of it on breakfast? Do I want to like break it up and have like snacks? Like, I want to go about that. And when I started viewing stuff like that, it was really cool about how I could just like tweak things on a daily basis to like get what I want and get what I need. Like, okay, I really want this pizza. So, what can I change on the pizza or with the pizza to help me reach my protein goal but lower my calories or make a swap? And I just continued to do that as the time went on. And it also reminded me, getting me back to my biology years. So, I do have a biology degree, and one of my favorite units that we learned in my bio 2 class was about like food and how it breaks down into your body. And I loved that area and I aced that exam. Okay. It talked a lot about like food, like different foods when you eat it, like what enzymes are breaking it down, and when it goes into your body, like what does it separate as. And I started to remember and reflect more on that. And I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, no food is good or bad. It's all getting broken down into these micro and macronutrients. So how can I make sure that I am, having X, Y, and Z amount of etc. And I started just thinking of stuff that way. And then I started following people on TikTok, like different dietitians and stuff. And I keep mentioning this one dietitian that I love on TikTok. And I was learning about how you can balance your meals and have like a protein, fat, carbs, and getting your fiber, and how that can help you feel more satiated. And she doesn't talk about foods as good or bad. She talks about what they are. This is a carb. This is higher in protein. This is like, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this makes so much more sense. So now when like I see food, I approach it from such a different mindset of like, okay, this is like a carb. This is going to help me feel like more energized. This has like higher in fat. This is going to help me feel more satiated. This has protein. And I started viewing stuff like that, and I see everything like that, and it's been amazing and life changing. And on top of that, it's made me more open to foods as well. I grew up as someone who is a picky eater, or was a picky eater, and I didn't want this or that, or depending on how it looks. But now I feel like I'm just open to so many different foods, because I'm like, I love food so much and I love like what it can do for me, and I'm so excited to add like a new food into like my food toolbox. Like, I am just like, yes, like I can't wait to try this different vegetable so I can have this in the rotation and get this taste and this flavor. And now I don't have such a negative view on cooking either, and it's just been really amazing in this time period. So while I was in my calorie deficit, I learned those things, and it helped me achieve my goal of losing 10 pounds, which I did. But now that I am in maintenance, so I'm in maintenance as of, what was it, July 1st. I ended my cut. So from April to July, I was in a calorie deficit. And now, for a month or so, now that we're in August, I have been in maintenance. And I at first did have some fear of like, am I just gonna gain back all the weight? Like, what does maintenance really mean, etc. Honestly, like that fear was definitely fleeting, and I've been maintaining this weight and it's been fine. Like, I may be up 1 or 2 pounds depending on the day. I don't weigh myself every day, but I've been just kind of intuitively eating, and I used to kind of laugh when people said that, but I think that once you get to a point where you kind of just really understand like what food is and what food does, that's when you can actually intuitively eat. Because when you don't really understand like what it is your body needs and what you need to fuel yourself to do these activities that you're doing, you may be severely under eating, you may be overeating. And I think a lot of people, when they think about dieting and stuff, they think, or tracking their food, they think of like you're just worried about, trying to be skinny and etc. But it's not just that. You can be severely under eating. Like you may be so worried about getting a little bit of this or getting a little bit of that, or you think you're eating a lot of something and that's like barely has any calories, and you may not be getting the amount of calories that you even need to fuel your body for what you're doing. You're working out for an hour plus, you're doing Pilates or whatever it is. You need food to be like your energy and your source of fuel. So that's another way to just kind of like help yourself know like what you're doing is by tracking. But it comes to a point after tracking, I tracked for 3 months straight. Now I know like this meal has roughly around 400 calories. This meal has roughly around like 29, 30 grams of protein. Like I know that from tracking, but there's no way to know that without tracking. I thought I did. I thought I knew how much protein I was getting in a day. Like I'm getting this or that. And then I realized like I wasn't being accurate with my serving sizes. I was having too little of this and too much of that. And so tracking has really helped me. So now I am in my intuitive eating phase. I occasionally weigh something, but most of the time I don't. I eyeball it and we keep it moving and it's great. But now I feel like I'm so in tune to like, okay, I want to have like a light snack that will keep me feeling satiated. I'm going to reach for my Greek yogurt, and I'm also going to add granola, and I'm also going to add some chia seeds for fiber, and really just stacking instead of just thinking about it for taste or if it looks like a little bit or just the calories. I'm thinking about what is it going to do for me. So that has been like my biggest takeaway, is just like viewing food for what it is, the macro and micronutrients, and like how it fuels your body, and also being more open to like different meals. Oh man, it's just been amazing and so helpful. On top of that, my gut issues disappeared. It's not to say that I haven't had a day or days where I've maybe been bloated or even experienced acid reflux. But when I tell y'all that from the period of June of 2023 until April of 2024, I was chronically bloated. I was bloated every single day. Like there wasn't a day that I was not bloated. Sprinkle in there acid reflux. When I tell you, like I was just bloated, like that was my lifestyle. I only knew my stomach as looking like I was 3 months pregnant, just out of like bloat and all of that. So I do not spend every day bloated. I know that like I have periods of bloating. It's usually when my period is coming or I'm on my period. I get bloated maybe temporarily after eating too fast or eating something that maybe is a little bit spicy. And I know now my body reacts very quickly like, girl, you cannot have that spicy stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool, got it. I'm not going to push it. No spicy sauce, not too heavy on the red pepper flakes, that type of stuff. And it's been so nice to be able to be in tune to my body because I'm actually not bloated, so that when I get bloated or I notice something, I'm like, okay, reflect on what it is I ate. Because before, it was just bloated all the way. Because I've been focused so much on getting my protein, fiber, fat, and carbs that I literally have just been eating better. And it's really embarrassing because I was thinking that there was some magical thing wrong with me. And it turns out your girl just needed some more fiber and a more balanced diet. Well, I was taking a probiotic and I was like, obviously this is going to help. But it's not going to help if you're not eating foods to help it out. Like when I tell you my vegetable and fruit count in a day would probably be like 1 or 2 at best. Now we're talking like 4 to 5 different fruits and vegetables in a day. And I really am trying to rack that number up closer to 10. There are days when I do get there. So I was watching a documentary about like you are what you eat, and it just talked about like diversifying your microbiome and increasing your gut health. And we need to eat different things. Like you can't you can have your favorite vegetable, and let's say your favorite vegetable is broccoli. Amazing. But you can't just only have broccoli. Try to have other things as well so that you have a variety of different good bacteria that is going into your body, because you can't just get that from one singular vegetable. So we would have green beans. Like that would be our main vegetable, and sometimes we'd have broccoli. But now in a day, I'm talking like for breakfast, like I had fruits. So I'll have like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, or maybe I have a banana. But I have those three berries. And then for lunch, I may have like two vegetables. I could have like green beans and sweet potatoes, or green beans and potatoes, or I've been getting this like vegetable mix that I love from Target that's sweet potatoes, butternut squash, and carrots. So that's three right there. So I may have that and green beans. For dinner, I'll come around and I may repeat a vegetable. Like I'll have a vegetable again. Oh, but then I can have like spinach in my bagel in the morning. So that's put me at like 8. And then let's say like I'll typically have like, I don't know, my dinner might have like bell peppers or something. So I add that and we're at like 9. Like that's all in one day. Whereas I wouldn't even get that many diversified vegetables and fruits within a week. But now I do that easily. And I also have chia seeds. I have my yogurt. Like I just have so much variety, and it's been so amazing, and my body has been thanking me for it, and I am just so much happier that way. So if you are experiencing any gut health issues, definitely go see a doctor. Try to make sure that they can rule out that there isn't anything crazy going on. But also, before you jump to an elimination diet or anything like that, unless you can pinpoint, because like I said, I couldn't, unless you can pinpoint that, like, man, every time I eat this, I feel bad, or every morning after breakfast, I feel bad, or after dinner, I feel bad, unless you can pinpoint something, try just increasing your fiber, because honestly, I felt really embarrassed to admit that, but a bunch of our population is severely deficient in fiber. So surely you're not the only one. So let me be the one to let you know that, girly, start tracking your fiber intake and see how that helps. So anyway, this was just a chill little yap session that I wanted to have with you all about just food and changing your relationship with food. And I hope it can be inspiring or spark some type of exploration of your own. And yeah, that's why I feel so passionate about sharing some like meal ideas and keeping it simple with you guys, because it has really changed my life. So definitely check out some of my previous videos about food, my grocery haul, and stuff like that. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I love chatting with you all, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.